Hi guys, welcome to the Blockchain Bandits Podcast episode 8. You're here with me, Jeff.
Myself, Courtney.
And me, Andy.
And today we're going to be speaking to you guys about, our topic's going to be don't get lost in the crypto source. We'll go through what that means in a second. Countries making their own blockchains. A barrier for cryptocurrencies. Are cryptocurrencies actually centralized by exchanges? We'll go through that as well, and then we're going to wrap up what happened this whole year for cryptocurrencies, because this is going to be our last podcast until the new year. So yeah, let's get started. Don't get lost in the crypto source. What does that mean? It means basically the cryptocurrency world is a huge space. There's so many cryptocurrencies, there's so many coins, so many blockchains, and we've kind of covered that before, but it's so easy. And what we've noticed, especially in our group chat that we have of about 100 people now, people are always wondering, what does this coin do? What does that coin do? I missed out on that coin. I missed out on this coin. And it can become chaotic, and you can see the chaos in people's minds, because there's just so much to choose from, so much choice. It's like taking a kid through a candy store. They don't know which one to pick first. So we're going to give you some advice on that. It's not financial advice, so whatever, do whatever you want, but it's just some tips, things that I do personally. So yeah, focus on maybe 5 coins to start with, because that way it gives you is that you can have a diverse enough portfolio, and also it's a small enough number for you to be able to look into each coin in depth and know what you're looking at. And then once you get more comfortable, maybe start expanding one by one, moving on into other coins, because it can be very confusing, especially with such tech heavy information, especially if you're not coming from a tech world. It's very easy to get confused and not know where to get your information from, and so easy to fall for scams. And that's why you hear so many people falling for scams and ICO scams and Ponzi schemes. Do you guys have anything to say about that? Yeah.
Well, I think I'm fairly new. I'm most likely the newest to the whole scene out of the three of us. But, I always like to look at the kind of low value ICOs. The ICOs that I, feel like will have a good chance in the future. I bang on about IOTA, for instance, in that way. But there are a number of them that have got, good tech behind them. I believe the coin's all about the tech, so the tech behind them is really key. So I'd find like a coin that has really good tech behind it, check out the white paper, and say to myself, yeah, this is the one that I will put some money in towards. And I think that's key. There's so many different ICOs, but not all of them you would agree with their software or their tech, put it that way, or anything that they're going to be putting out. So that's one key thing to get hold on. But then there's the big ones. So if you ever want to look at Ethereum or like Bitcoin, maybe you put a bit into those. But kind of have your own reasons as well sometimes of why you're actually choosing a particular coin. Don't just say to yourself, Bitcoin is making a lot of money, I'm going to throw it all into that. But then, there's these other 10 coins that look just like Bitcoin, the most likely you'll make money as well. And you put all your money into those, and then there's another 10 after that. You're just going to get totally lost in the source, And I don't think that's a good way to go about it at all.
Yeah, I can only speak from my own experience. I'm actually glad the path I actually took in terms of crypto, because it did keep me grounded, which is key. And the boys are exactly right. Like, it's very easy to get lost in the source with this whole market. So just get lost in chasing the brightest light. But just because it's the brightest light doesn't mean it will shine the longest.
Exactly.
Sometimes they die out the fastest, and that is often the case with cryptocurrency in the cryptocurrency market.
Exactly.
So how I started is I actually I went half and half on Bitcoin and Ethereum, which I'm glad I did, and that was my first step into the space. From there, obviously, I kept my stop losses. I was very careful with my TA, and I kept myself up to date with what was going on. Slowly but surely, I ran into some ICOs and altcoins which I thought had interesting technology behind them, an interesting team, and I had value. I thought they were undervalued, so I'd break up my portfolio, which was 50% Bitcoin and 50% Ethereum. Use a bit of my Bitcoin to invest in some altcoins and a bit of my Ethereum to invest in some tokens and altcoins, and the ones I actually believed in, and it went well. Like, it went very well. Again, like, if you go in and you all into a altcoin or token or just coin in general that you don't know a lot about, you basically might as well go to a casino and just put it all on red. It's because it is a gamble.
It is.
And you want to take, and this whole market's a gamble, and you want to take calculated risks.
Exactly.
So you want to educate yourself. And I do always tell people when they're starting off, like, they always ask, "Oh, what should I get?" Well, get the core ones for now. They might not make the highest gains. They might not just shoot up 20% in a day. However, they're relatively stable and they're high in volume, and they're solid. And then once you clued yourself up on the market, then keep looking into reading different white papers, looking at different tech, comparing different coins and altcoins, and getting opinions of other people. Then you will know what you feel is the right bet. And once you get there, stay grounded, and you don't need to check every day, every second, the performance of your coin or altcoin.
Bearing in mind you keep your money off the exchange.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Yes. Yes, of course. Yeah. That is one of the key tips as well. Like, you definitely want to keep it off the exchange. Be safe. Be secure. Like that. It's really, really important. But yeah, like, for your psyche and mental health, I would say that being able to hold your mid to long term holds, and being able to just like stay composed when it's such a volatile market. I've seen that, like, people who tend to do that seem to see rewards more than people who are very emotional.
Sure.
And again, if you're emotional, you probably got way too much invested.
Yeah, and that's another thing as well. When you actually limit the amount of cryptocurrencies you're looking at in a controlled amount, it's a lot easier to control your emotions as well. Because if you've got 100 different cryptocurrencies you're looking at, one's going up, one's going down, your emotions are all over the place. You're not going to make rational decisions. And when you're investing in anything, you need to make rational decisions. Otherwise, you're going to end up losing money. It's just basic common sense. But common sense goes out the window when you're being emotional. You might be the smartest guy who ever lived, but once emotions gets sets into you, you're going to be all over the place. Another thing to bear in mind is we're saying, yeah, you know what, don't get lost in the crypto source. But Andy made a good point. Don't focus just on one coin. Diversify your investments. Look at the coins, and when you're looking at a coin, don't just look at the coin, look at its competition as well, because that will help you determine whether it's of value or whether it's just a copy or a clone. And obviously, if it's just a copy, does the same thing 10 other coins do, it's not going to hold that much value to you. That's just like what I do personally. So yeah, don't get lost in the crypto source, because it's a dangerous market out there. It's the Wild West in the cryptocurrency market at the moment, and that is a place where you could easily lose money. You hear these stories of people making so much money, but on the other side, there's always something on the other side, always another side of the coin. And on the other side is people losing a lot of money.
Yeah, you always hear about the people making money. You never hear about the people who lost tons.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want a good example, people losing a lot of money, BitMEX,
Yeah.
Bitrex,
Yeah,
on
Bitrex,
Twitter.
Yeah.
And that, for the people who don't know what that is, it's basically a bot which posts BitMEX liquidated asset contracts. So basically, what that is is on BitMEX. Again, very risky, and you can trade Bitcoin and other coins on using leverage, and very high leverage, up to times 100 in some cases. And yeah, exactly,
That's
Courtney,
crazy.
exactly.
I was just shaking my head there.
Yeah, like you. So and people just buy long or short Bitcoin with these insane leverages margins, and and often a lot of people lose because again you're fighting against a very volatile market. Bitcoin can fall about $1,000 in a day if it feels like it. And people lose hundreds of thousands, millions in some cases. You don't hear about that instantly in seconds.
Yeah.
So just take that into account. Don't get stupid, because it's very easy to get greedy and stupid.
That's very good advice. Don't get stupid. But that's basically what not getting lost in the crypto sources. So you can take from that. Don't look into too many cryptocurrencies at the same time. But at the same time, don't look into one cryptocurrency and bank everything on that. Always risk what you can afford to lose. Make sure you're not emotional about it, and don't get stupid. So yeah. Moving on to the next subject. Countries making their own blockchains. There's been a lot of noise recently in the news. I actually wrote an article as well about governments planning to make their own cryptocurrencies. Janet Yellen recently this week came out and spoke about blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies, and I think some EU officials actually came out today or yesterday saying that they believe cryptocurrencies are here to stay. And all this noise, government bodies and central banks talking about cryptocurrencies, it's because they're obviously planning to create their own. They've seen the potential and they're seeing that it could have some benefits to them. But why would anyone basically invest in a cryptocurrency backed by a government when the whole philosophy behind cryptocurrencies is to step away from that system? Is to be decentralized, obviously. But there are two sides to the argument. Governments can benefit from this because obviously then they have control. Everyone can kind of benefit because if there is a government currency or a national currency on blockchain, then counterfeiting is obviously out the window, and so there's that. There are a few countries who already have cryptocurrencies and have cryptocurrencies in development. Sweden's one of them. China, Japan, and Venezuela is one of them as well. The Venezuelan cryptocurrency is quite interesting because it's backed by their national resources like diamonds, oil, gold, and they're looking to make cryptocurrency because it helps them get around the sanctions on Venezuela, because a lot of banks won't do business with them. So it will help their economy if they can do trade without having to go through banks. And you can see the benefits there. But obviously, from a cryptocurrency enthusiast point of view, it's just like, no, just go away, stop trying it. This isn't your world. This is our world. This is a decentralized world. I don't know what you guys' takes on that is.
Well, I'd suggest that the government almost acts like a company, and I think as we've got so many companies moving towards the cryptocurrency space, they're kind of trying to push through and actually ensure that blockchain technology is enforced in their companies, because they can see the benefits of it all. I would suggest that the government's doing the same thing. The government in general will see so many benefits. The key one is crime, and reduce crime rates. That's one key aspect of actually implementing their own cryptocurrency. Also, you've got the whole idea of reducing management costs. So you've got a thing called minting, where the government will go through and actually ensure that currency is actually printed or created in that way. They don't have to do that anymore if they adopt cryptocurrency as their main currency. which is again a benefit for them. But then there are a number of drawbacks, especially if the government decide to enforce a cryptocurrency as their main currency upon its population. One would be the fact that everything will go digital. Now that seems like a great idea, right? We've all got phones and stuff like that, but you can imagine how many different implications that has on citizens. One, you all have to have a digital device. So maybe you've got like a very 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 old grandparent or something like that who doesn't like technology. It could be a young person that doesn't like technology, but I'm just gonna jump on the stereotype. Ultimately, they might not want to actually use the digital currency. They may not know how to use it. It causes problems for them. You've also got the idea of, when systems go down. If the system goes down, how the hell are you buying anything if everything's actually cashless because we're using this digital currency? So that's the second problem there. And then you've got also the idea of privacy. There most likely be less privacy in terms of the government being more intrusive on your privacy. They be maybe checking your transactions and seeing what's going on. That can be useful maybe again towards the whole crime rates kind of issue. If you've got somebody that's stolen some sort of coin, you can pretty much just turn off that coin and give back that money to the correct entity. So there are benefits and drawbacks on both sides. But I think you just have to have a generic. Do you think it's actually a good thing for the space? I think that's the ultimate question.
One point as well that I didn't actually think of, but it was raised on the Dysonomics podcast, which I'm actually featuring on the next one, talking about cryptocurrencies. So shout out to Dysonomics podcast. But he did an episode on the cashless world, on the cashless systems. And one point he brought up that I didn't actually think of was homeless people. When you see a homeless person on the street, you might be able to give them some change. How's that going to work? It's going to be a lot harder to donate to people like that on an everyday basis without cash.
It's a problem nowadays with Apple Pay and stuff, actually. Because I actually don't even
carry cash. I don't carry cash either. Rarely. Sometimes I have change on me, but rarely. It's very rare.
Well, I guess you would have to either give the homeless person a digital device, maybe a chip, not a good idea, for them to receive the money. Then they can take it to the shop and actually purchase goods. It's a difficult one. I think we're moving towards that because everything's digital now, and we're moving towards it. But I think the fact that we can still rely on fiat isn't necessarily a totally bad thing.
I don't think that we need to necessarily think of it as a completely binary if there's a government trying to bring in digital currency. So I'm assuming, for example, let's talk for the UK government, for example. If they were to implement a digital currency, they wouldn't stop printing fiat. It would be almost like a tether for it would be the digital currencies are a tether towards the fiat money.
Yeah.
So what you would probably find is, which I think would probably be the best system, transitioning to digital, is you would have, like, say if you got £100, you would be able to go to I'm assuming it's going to be a bank or a service, what allows you to change, let's say 50 of it, £50 into this digital. Let's say £pounds, and e-sterling or whatever, and now you have that on your wallet, your e-wallet, and that's completely that's easy to get rid of and use, and then you have your other £50 as fiat money. I think that's the best way in terms of getting people to learn how to use it.
Exactly.
The people who don't know how to use, who don't like tech. And don't want to really get involved in it. Maybe they're a bit older. Maybe it's all a bit too complicated. Maybe they just might not agree with the technology, or they don't agree with the fact that governments are have access to a lot more data than they feel they should. Then that's cool. They can use the fiat money. But again, the thing about technology is the technology is there to serve people and make our lives easier. And I think the government doing this, it does make our life easier because this would help against fraud, and this would help. It's better for security, and and in terms of like the fact that now it's just a lot easier to, you won't lose money, for example. That they're obviously sound reasons to actually do it.
Yeah, there are some reasons. There's pros and cons, but at the end of the day, personally, I don't like it. I'm all for decentralization, as you've probably guessed, but if you've listened to the other episodes, because I think the governments and the banks have already shown us that they failed. They can't be trusted with our funds, and maybe it's time to see how the people do. Maybe 100 years down the line, we realize people are actually crap at being in charge of their own money, but we won't know until we try. And I think it's time to try, and I think this is just a way of governments encroaching and trying to steal the power back away from like these decentralized systems. But we all knew something like this was going to happen anyway, and it's going to be a like a sort of tug of war, and we'll see what comes out of it. We'll see. It's interesting to talk about. It's interesting to see. I just love talking about this stuff as well. So just the more stuff that comes out of it, the better, I suppose. But ultimately, I prefer decentralization.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think decentralization is actually key. Because there's always just profit to be made for somebody else, not necessarily the person that earned it in the first place. And I think that's the negative towards centralization there. But then I wouldn't necessarily say it's totally a bad thing, especially as we're going to go towards a cashless system, whether we like it or not. I think potentially, if that does mean we've got blockchain technology included for the extra security, maybe
that'd be a good thing. Yeah, I see that.
Just to add on what Courtney just said, and like I don't necessarily disagree with you guys, because I obviously prefer decentralization in most things, let's say. But I can't see the government not using this technology to their advantage.
Yeah, of course.
And like for example, it could help a lot of ways in, like, for example, tax.
Yeah.
Massively.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper to print money now and stuff, like if we go digital. I'm assuming with exchanges and like actual changes, it will hopefully be cheaper. And I'd rather have my government control a currency or crypto than a bank.
Yeah.
Like if anything was going to be centralized, governments are centralized.
Yeah.
That's fact. That's societies are centralized. But we are like, I think it's important that we take into account, because with how we're going, especially in the UK, like I feel like it's gonna happen. But yeah, it's a very interesting one.
Yeah,
it's a very interesting one.
Definitely. You raise up a good point. Tax is another advantage. Like maybe some sort of tax algorithm could be already implemented into your
tax bracket.
Into your tax bracket, and so you don't even have to worry about your taxes. It's just automatically done. That's one benefit. But then again, there are some problems with that too. But overall, obviously, like I said, I prefer decentralization. However, that doesn't mean that cryptocurrencies right now are fully decentralized, which is one of our next topic. Are cryptocurrencies actually centralized because of the exchanges? Now, what made me actually think of this and take it to the guys is we're talking about the Mt. Gox situation, which is an exchange. And at one point, they stopped people being able to sell bitcoins on their exchange in order so that there were only buyers in the market. And if there are only buyers in the market, the price is going to go up. That way, their Bitcoin stores would obviously go up in value, and they were doing it because their company was going under and they needed more money. Right now, every single exchange you can use, very much 99% of them at the moment, are centralized. And recently, some of the exchanges have been having problems, like where people can't get in to get rid of their coins. Some people are speculating it's some sort of conspiracy theory. I don't believe it really, but it is possible, are thinking that they're basically doing the same thing. And in that way, right now, cryptocurrencies are centralized, but exchanges have the power to manipulate the price because they are, like we've mentioned before, they are the gatekeepers. If you want to go and sell, you have to go through them. And this is why another reason why decentralized exchanges are super important. I don't know, do you guys have anything to add to that?
Well, I think, it's not totally clear whether or not this is, definitely the case or not. That's just one thing we have to put across. But, the idea that an exchange is going to pretty much act like Gandalf and you shall not pass type of thing, it's definitely possible. I think one big problem right now as well with the fact that the cryptocurrency market is so saturated that so many people are coming in now to actually, exchange on the markets. But somehow the exchanges are not prepared at all. And it's like, okay, maybe the first week, the second, third month has gone by, 2 months, but it's been a while now and you're still not prepared. You kind of question it a bit. Is it actually all a plan? Or is it all, something that's been orchestrated? Who knows?
My opinion on the whole exchanges being centralized or decentralized has slightly changed the past few weeks. Because I did some reading up on it, and but basically, like, my conclusion is now that if it's centralized and done well, like, and I'm being serious, like how top exchanges around the world operate, and not this ridiculous lack of security, lack of lack of customer support, lack of being able to like handle the traffic, just a bit of like just to do their job. Like if we could just get that at a minimum. In my opinion, I think a centralized exchange would be okay if it was a big, good centralized exchange which is backed. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to people having problems with a decentralized exchange, and there are different ways that could happen. Like they're easier to be fixed with a centralized exchange. If to implement new things, it's easier to be fixed with a centralized exchange. Also, there's a few more, but which I can't remember off the top of my head. But like in terms of the whole decentralized exchange, like we can it's going to be running on contracts, and we all know how the network can act when there's a high influx in contracts. So that means that we're complaining about how high traffic is going to affects our current centralized exchanges because there's people trying to trade. But imagine if there's again, a cryptocurrency is a very volatile market. Imagine if there's a sharp increase or a sharp drop on these decentralized exchanges. We're going to run into some issues.
That's true, especially depending on what blockchain network it's on as well. For example, if it was on the Ethereum network or the Bitcoin blockchain, it would not work. It would just be stagnant. Nothing would be happening. It'd be frozen. You'd be waiting for ages for confirmations. That's another thing. Blockchain technology has to step up first before it can adopt the decentralized exchanges, which is why the decentralized exchanges are on it at the moment. There's still a lot of growth there to be done, but at the same time, I actually do kind of feel sorry for the like Coinbase in particular, that the CEO was talking about the basically everything going down and how they're trying to add more support, add more servers to because they never expected this many people. And I was talking to Dysonomics right before the podcast, and he mentioned that basically with Adidas, when the new Yeezys came out, everybody wanted the Yeezys, and then the Adidas website crashed because they weren't expecting it. And obviously everyone just accepted, okay, it crashed because there were certain people. But with cryptocurrencies, because it's such a wanted thing and because there's a lot of money in it, that's why it's such a big deal. But at the same time, you've got to understand that like the exchanges didn't expect this sort of thing, and what can they do if they didn't expect this sort of infrastructure? You can't build for an infrastructure based on something that hasn't happened yet, because it's just impossible, really. And it would be a waste of money just to be like, oh, let's get 1 million servers, but you have 100 customers. Like, so I think we've got to kind of bear that in mind at the same time when we think about these things. But then obviously on the flip side, that a centralized exchange is run by people, and people can't be trusted. The blockchain network can be. So it takes the need for trust out of it, because the trust is inbuilt. So you never know what the reasons are behind, and that's why that's why we're having this discussion. That's why it's good to discuss these sorts of things, because moving forward, something like what Mt. Gox did before could happen again. It could be happening right now. We never know. We have to consider it. We have to investigate. We got to look into it. We got to share ideas, and we've got to look to how we can avoid things like this happening before they happen. I personally I personally think that for now, like Andy was saying, there are a lot of plus sides to having centralized exchanges, but in the future, definitely, when the blockchain technology is up to scratch, then a decentralized exchange is a must. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have anything else to say on that.
No, I disagree. I'd say ultimately decentralized exchange would be pretty much exactly what we need. That's the whole point of it, really. If you think about it, it'd just be perfect.
Exactly. So then cryptocurrencies would actually be fully decentralized at that point. So yeah, I think was that it?
I just want to add, I definitely think decentralized over centralized, but I just think that the technology we have in the blockchain community right now, and I guess the devs right now, no one's really focusing on it, is lacking. Maybe in a few years, one might appear what we can call like a benefit to the market. I just hope that comes. I hope it comes soon, and I hope it comes so people who for the benefit of beginners. Because it again, one of the problems a lot of beginners come into the space trying to invest in a new currency or altcoin or whatever. It's just the faff with all the currency, the exchanges.
Yeah, the verifications, the logging in process. You just have to be. It's so long, and I can understand why a lot of people are turned away. But like we always say, it's early days. It's in its infancy. We just got to give it time. We got to be patient, and really, if you want it that bad, then just push through. So yeah, I think that's it for the discussions. But it's time for us to wrap up the year 2017, because this is our last podcast of the year, and we thought we'd take a look back at things that happened this year. So I don't know, Bitcoin is the obvious one to speak about first. It's meteoric rise to where it is now, $20K dollars. Did it hit 20K? Yeah.
20K, yeah.
That's insane. I'm struggling to cope with that understanding of that growth. We'll see how it does in 2018, especially with the futures market being more established. I'm expecting. Well, you never know with Bitcoin, and they say you'd be crazy to be bearish on Bitcoin, but I'm obviously not going to be financially a bear. But in my head, I think, from what I'm seeing and from all logical, there's going to have to be some sort of correction, major correction. This doesn't just happen. There's got to be some sort of correction, and it will come soon. That's why people say Bitcoin's a bubble. I can understand why they say that, because it kind of is a bubble. But it doesn't mean the cryptocurrency world is a bubble. It doesn't mean blockchain technology is a bubble either. And being a bubble is not terrible, because we had .com bubble. Now look at every major company right now. What are they based on? They're based on the internet. So, it's just been crazy. Also, Ethereum's made a great rise this year as well. There's been so many hard forks along the way. It's been good to see it develop. Also, new cryptocurrencies coming out of the space, the ICO market just booming. 2017 was just crazy, like for this space, and I think 2017 is going to be the year that everyone remembers as, oh, this is when it started.
Yeah.
Even though it started a long
Yeah.
time before, but this is the one where like adoption the spark that ignited wider adoption kind of sparked basically. Yeah, I don't know what else you guys want to talk about having this here.
Yeah, so I'll just add on to that. Really, Bitcoin naturally, in my opinion, is like a father, and then his sons all the ICOs below it, and it literally pulled them up and said, you know what, we're gonna survive, we're gonna make it through. And I think, you know, the fact that it's hit this all-time high and it's still pushing through, it's just reinforcing that, and it's a good thing for the market. It's pushed, and as we've spoken about in previous podcasts, it's pushed companies across the world to start to look into blockchain technology, and I think that is a key thing for 2017 as well. You know, we'll see so much more growth in that space, which will mean again wider adoption. You know, that's what it is. It's the year of wider adoption, and I think, you know, what we'll find most likely next year is plenty more new ICOs popping up. We saw so many of them at the blockchain summit just popping up all over the place. It's an exciting time. You know, who knows what's going to happen next exactly, but what I would like to see per se in the next, you know, coming year or years is, you know, as we're moving towards more of a digital space, how, you know, blockchain technology will actually adapt to that. I think we need to see also, like, you know, improvement in blockchain technology. We need to see, for instance, Bitcoin trying to improve how they're doing things. I don't think we can stay in this stagnant kind of version. I think we need potentially Segwit 2x to come back and take force. We need something from Bitcoin, because I think the more Bitcoin's pushed, the more the whole space is pushed, and, you know, it's just gonna be great in that respect.
Yeah, it's been an exciting year. Very exciting year to 2017. I think the most exciting so far in the space. So the people who have jumped on 2017, well done. Like Bitcoin, for example, at the beginning of the year was $1,000. As of today, it is as of today, it is $20,000. Now, it obviously Bitcoin ran into a few speed bumps along the way, especially around August. With the China FUD and Jamie Dimon, it actually went down to $2,000. But within that 5-6 months, it's managed to rally up to what it is now. I truly believe 2018 is going to be the time when we are actually going to reach a point where, like, we're hitting the mainstream, and maybe mid 2018 is when, or I would say early 2019 also maybe, is when mass adoption is hit. I'm very excited for 2018, but also I'm very cautious. If you ask me if Bitcoin would hit 30,000 by March or February 2018, 3 months ago, I would have said no. Just because it's like Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market in general just continues to defy logic sometimes. I feel like 2018 is going to be very, very good, but also very dodgy. Just because I'm very nervous with the amount of people who are entering the market, and also the amount how it's being pumped up with Tether. It's definitely something to take into account, and I know for a fact the second quarter of 2018, I'm going to be very, very careful within the market. And I suggest people to be careful anyway, but I just know for me, I'm gonna be very much more careful than usual,
Yeah.
just because I'm very nervous about the fall what's gonna come, uh, when or how or when the top is, who knows.
I agree.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that 2018, like you said, is gonna be a key year. It's gonna be like, I'm nervous about 2018 in terms of just, I feel like Bitcoin will have its correction then, but obviously don't take my word for it. Who am I really? But that's just my opinion. I really do think that maybe the altcoins will do well. Like there's a lot on the horizon for a lot of altcoins. Like there's Ethereum's got some forks coming out. There's a lot of updates, a lot of wallet updates for each coin. Things are improving steadily for everyone in the space, and I think that even Bitcoin actually is going to be improving. The Lightning Network, which sounds very promising at the moment. So I don't know, like this market is so, it like Andy said, it defies all logic. So you just have to be very wary. You have to be. That's why you don't go all in. This is why we said don't get lost in the crypto source. This is why you can't be emotional. You can't have those. You can't fall for FOMO, which is fear of missing out. You can't fall for FUD, which is basically just fear. News that spreads fear. You need to be in control of your emotion. You need to look at things logically, because 2018 is going to be key, especially if you're new to the space and you're just getting in, or you were looking at things in 2017 and you're thinking 2018, new year, new me, and I'm going to start investing in cryptocurrencies. Just stay safe out there, guys, because 2017 was a brilliant year. It was brilliant. I loved it. Like, for cryptocurrencies, it was great. 2018 could be just as great, but it could be absolutely disgusting to you if you are a newbie, especially coming in. If you're entering at these high prices at the moment, if price just tanks, I don't know, man. It's game over for you. Well, not game over, but if you're all in, it's game over. But that's why you don't go all in. So I think that's all I have to say about 2017 and going into 2018. You guys?
No, I think you've kind of nipped it in the bud earlier enough. I think it's just really be careful, be really careful, be excited about the space and its growth. That's the key rule. Things that we're gonna leave 2017 with, if I'm right to say, guys.
Yep, that's it. Be careful, guys. But yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for being here with us in 2017. We're just getting started. 2018 is gonna be a year of growth for us as well. We're coming up with ways to provide you guys with more content, ways to help you guys. We're setting up a Patreon which you can get in and join in from just $1 a month. And we'll be providing you with things like technical analysis. You get entered into competitions where you can win free coins, and get breakdowns of white papers and things like that, and exclusive videos breaking things down. So look out for that. So thank you so much for listening to us and subscribing and liking. We're just getting started, and we've got so much more to offer you guys and to help you guys with. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next year.
Yeah, take it easy, guys. Have a good Christmas period, regardless if you're religious or not, and have a great new year. Start fresh on the 1st of Jan.
Yeah, I just want to say congratulations to the people who are inside the cryptocurrency space in 2017. See you guys in 2018. Hopefully it will continue. Bye-bye.
See ya.